Hi, and welcome to our first training session as part of the Road to PIPA training program. My name is Nakia Pearson. I'm the Inclusion and Engagement Officer for the Office of the Privacy Commissioner for Bermuda, and we are here to talk about privacy and the Personal Information Protection Act 2016, which came into effect on January 1st, 2025. This training program will help you understand the main concepts of PIPA, as well as help your organization prepare for full implementation. It's important to remember that privacy is evolving at an ever-increasing pace, so be patient and don't stress too much. Remember, privacy is a journey, not a destination. Our opening module is entitled, Who Will Be Your Privacy Team? In it, we will be covering the first two phases of the Road to PIPA implementation plan, organizational commitment and groundwork. We covered these two topics in our weekly activities as part of the Road to PIPA implementation plan in weeks 1 through 6. If you're not familiar, you can find the full Road to PIPA plan on our website at www.privacy.bm. Located under the Resources tab, here you will find a fully fleshed out program that you can engage at your own pace. The program will assist you in putting together the very concepts that you will learn here, while also providing tools and resources to assist you along the way. Now let's get started. Let's have a look at our agenda. Our agenda for this session is as follows. First, we're going to start off with executive sign-off, followed by designating a privacy officer, developing a privacy program, creating a list of business units and/or processes, identifying privacy committee members, and reviewing PIPA and determining how it affects each business unit and process. Executive approval is the first step towards creating a culture of privacy. In a culture of privacy, privacy is incorporated and embedded in the organization's DNA from the outset, at every stage and level of the organization's work. This is done with the view of implementing a privacy by design framework. A culture of privacy demonstrates responsible and ethical stewardship of the personal information that organization holds. This often means changing the mindset and perspective of the entire organization. Everyone in the organization has a role to play in protecting the personal information that organizations collect, use, and disclose. Gaining consensus from members of the management up to the top level of executive leadership in stages is a must. Under PIPA Section 5, Responsibility and Compliance, an organization must designate a privacy officer. A privacy officer is a designate responsible for ensuring and monitoring compliance with PIPA and fostering a culture of privacy. They have primary responsibility for communicating with the Privacy Commissioner. Under subsection 5.5 of PIPA, a group of organizations under common ownership or control may appoint a single privacy officer, provided that a privacy officer is accessible from each organization. Under subsection 5.6 of PIPA, a privacy officer designated under subsection 4 may delegate his duties to one or more individuals. Privacy officers are instrumental in developing an organization's privacy strategy, a privacy program framework, and building a privacy program. Privacy program frameworks are skeletal structures needed to support program management. They are created by analyzing applicable laws, regulations, best practices, and common privacy principles and concepts such as privacy by design and privacy by default. This means changing the mindset and perspective of the entire organization. Everyone in an organization has a role to play in protecting the personal information that they as an organization collect, use, and disclose. Under PIPA, every organization shall adopt suitable measures and policies to give effect to its obligations and to the rights of individuals set out in this Act. The measures and policies in subsection 1 shall be designed to take into account the nature, scope, context, and purposes of the use of personal information and the risk of individuals by the use of the personal information. In meeting its responsibilities under this Act, an organization shall act in a reasonable manner. These provisions contain a great deal of flexibility. This flexibility is useful because every organization is different. Personal information may be used in many different ways and for many different purposes. These varying circumstances create a variety of potential risks to individuals. Organizations should implement measures and policies that cover the identified risks. You can start by conducting what is known as a data inventory, i.e., understanding what type of information you hold, where you store the information, examples being a filing cabinet or on a computer, and how and with whom it is shared. You can do this by conducting an inventory and classifying or mapping what personal information is used, documenting personal information use practices and policies and procedures, and providing appropriate training and awareness to staff or others with access to data. Is it names, addresses, or credit card numbers? Understanding what those elements of personal information are and how they move through your organization is an essential first step. Document all practices for how your unit or organization is using data, who has access to the data, to whom the data is disclosed, and the different roles and responsibilities. Keep in mind, the exact nature of these specific measures and policies may differ. The depth or intensity with which an organization executes them will vary based on their particular circumstances. Policies and procedures need to be enforced at different functional levels. Having a clear incident response plan is critical. A key to this is ongoing training and awareness. It's a fact that employee error or negligence is consistently reported to be one of the biggest causes of security incidents. Having teams that work well together, for example, your privacy team, your information security team, or IT team, to manage unpredictable and uncontrollable risks is another important part of being prepared for data incidents. Preparing to respond and efficiently responding to PIPA rights requests is an official component of any privacy program, especially as organizations have to do so within 45 days. A structured privacy program exhibits an organization's commitment to protecting personal information and individual rights. Accountability is a key privacy principle. One method you can utilize is by analyzing the privacy risk in context, utilizing tools such as privacy impact assessments or PIAs, and identifying proactive measures. Developing an action plan to respond to incidents or potential breaches of security, as well as developing procedures to respond to PIPA rights requests. Organizations must be responsible for the information that they hold, take ownership, and take care of it, including by documenting any deviations from the privacy policy. Accountable organizations have the proper policies and procedures to promote best practice in managing personal information. Accountable organizations can demonstrate their compliance with laws and regulations. The other key principles are collection limitation, data quality, purpose specification, use limitation, security safeguards, openness, and individual participation. All of the above are key aspects of why organizations need to have a privacy program in place. Across an organization, privacy should continue to develop and mature. This means that your privacy program should keep evolving and maturing. The first step in creating your privacy program is to set up an internal privacy committee. Start by listing all the business units and/or processes in your organization. Then identify the stakeholders within each of these units or processes. This will help you to identify possible candidates for the privacy committee. Members of the privacy team may sit in other groups too. Building privacy relationships across the organization is key. To put this in action, you can demonstrate an effective and auditable framework to enable compliance with applicable privacy laws and regulations. You can promote accountability, trust, and confidence in the data entrusted by individuals, including consumers and employees. Highlight that an organization takes its privacy obligations seriously. Respond effectively to privacy breaches and individual requests. And continually monitor, maintain, and improve the maturity of the privacy program. This serves to benefit the organization in numerous ways, including enhancing an organization's brand and public trust, meeting regulatory obligations, encouraging ethical data processing practices, integrating data ethics into decision-making, preventing and mitigating effects of data breaches, and increasing data quality. A privacy committee can help gather data and make decisions regarding the collection and use of personal information in your organization. Privacy committee members bring knowledge of their area of expertise and their thoughts about how to protect personal information. The members should be chosen for their motivation and dedication to protecting the security and privacy of the organization's information assets. In the interview, you can ask the following questions to find out exactly how personal information is used by that particular unit and/or process. In the interviews, be sure to discuss each of the interviewees' programmatic goals. Focus on how they use tech and information to accomplish their goals, and build a case for how privacy supports these goals. What is the business purpose or programmatic goal of your unit and/or job duty? Who in your unit has an understanding of privacy and its principles? Has anyone in your unit been trained in privacy? What types of personal information does your unit process? How do you collect that information? Where do you store the information? Who is responsible for the information? Who has access to the information? Are there any flowcharts or other documents that map the process of unit information use? How is the information processed, i.e., is it sent to anyone else, or do you use dedicated software, etc.? What security safeguards are in place to protect personal information? How long do you retain personal information? How is it destroyed? Wait until you have completed all the interviews and staff members have agreed to participate in the privacy committee. Then you can make an announcement to staff and schedule regular meetings to work on your privacy program. Reviewing all aspects of the Personal Information Protection Act is critical to your privacy program and the work of the privacy officer and the privacy committee. There are other laws in Bermuda that govern the collection and retention of records, which you need to take into account. Depending on the nature and extraterritorial scope of the work your organization may do, you may have to consider the data protection and privacy laws and regulations of other jurisdictions. Example, GDPR in Europe, the US HIPAA, FERPA, and COPA laws, PIPA in Canada, and LGPD in Brazil. By creating a crosswalk, organizations can ensure that they are complying with all relevant data protection laws, regulations, and standards. They can identify any gaps or areas for improvement in their data privacy policies, programs, and practices. This helps to protect the privacy of individuals and to minimize the risk of legal and financial consequences for the organization.